No more losses, y'all. Welcome. This is the Oracle Treehouse. Welcome. I am the host, Clairvoyant Intuitive, Shanice Jones. It is an awesome Tuesday. Y'all, the day is here. The day is here. We have an awesome guest today at the Treehouse, Miss Penney Peirce, awesome author of this awesome book called Frequency, The Power of Personal Vibration. I'm going to bring her on the line now so we can get ready and talk about this awesome book. Penny, are you there?
I am here. Thank you.
Hi, welcome to the show. Like I was telling everybody, this is an awesome book. Can you first tell us how the information came to you to write this book?
Well, I had written The Intuitive Way a fair number of years ago, and then a bunch of books on dreams and one on the present moment. So I've been working with the concepts of intuition development and consciousness development and perception for a long time. And this just seemed to be the next level of it, because I had seen a lot of other books come out like The Secret and the Abraham Hicks material, which I like quite a bit. But they were all seemed like pieces of a puzzle, not putting the puzzle together. And I felt that people were really missing the connecting links between a lot of the ideas. And so that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to link it all together and explain things in a kind of a common sense way where people could actually know what's going on and then know what to do about it, and actually use it.
Yes, and you definitely do. You definitely bring it into perspective and how people can articulate it. Can you give us some information on, because this is one part of the book that definitely stood out for me, about the like attracting like and how opposites attract, because people always get that confused, and I've always got that confused. How can opposite attract opposites and like attract like? How can that work out?
Well, I think you kind of have to drop back first so that you understand that everything vibrates, and that means we all have a different frequency of energy. Mm-hmm. And basically it's sort of like the way you think, and if you're a positive thinker or if you're a worrier or a negative thinker, you tend to affect the field of energy around you. So if your habitual way of thinking is negative, you'll tend to have the experiences that show up out of that field of energy that you live in match that, so you'll get things that reinforce that belief system. And that is really the basis of like attracts like. It's really not even about attraction. It's only that we live in a field of energy, and that field of energy takes on a vibration depending on what choices we make, what we pay attention to. So if you're paying attention to joy or creativity and feeling real positive, then the things that come out of that field are positive people and positive lucky experiences and so forth. It's not that you attract them from outside of yourself. You see, they come up out of you, basically.
Out of you.
So when you're in relationship, your relationships take on the quality of your field of energy, your vibration. They come out of your vibration. And so almost, without doubt, the people in your life are vibrating pretty much around the same level that you are. And when you get people who seem opposite, it's that you're probably still dealing with the same issue, but you're doing opposite sides of the issue. An example I often think of is, people who were abused as children, like a sexually abused, let's say. You might grow up and become very promiscuous and kind of go into the sexuality and use it and try to control it. Or you go the opposite direction and become a prude and don't like it, and you leave it. You don't want to, deal with it at all. It's the same issue underlying, two different ways of handling it. So you can seem like you're the opposite of that other person, right? The prude and the promiscuous person can really bounce off of each other. But underneath, they share the same issue. You see, So, again, that's like attracts like with the underlying issue. But the opposites on the outside, are attracting because the issue underlying is the same. You see what I mean?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So it clicked. It so clicked me. I was like, okay. And then, like I said, you go into how people are in your lives. It might be somebody you don't like, but that person's in your life because you have an underlying issue with that person. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's a basis. Then that's a basis for finding compassion. Because if you can understand that person and you are similar, and find connections, then you can find understanding, and then the fear goes away, and you can open the heart again. So that's important.
Cool. That is very important. Very important. I kind of jumped ahead of myself because I'm just so excited about this book. Like I said, this book is really, to me, the end all be all of explaining how things work on an energetic level. Can you explain to people what frequency is? Because people are probably wondering, what is frequency? What is she talking about? Is it radio? Are we radios?
Yeah. Well, it's like I said, everything really is made of energy. If we go down to physics, we have particles vibrating, but also particles that come into form and then they bounce out of form and become waves of energy. Then they come back in and become particles. Then they go out and become waves. And so everything in this world is really oscillating. And that's a frequency of a rhythm of movement. So, a table is vibrating, a tree is vibrating, everything has its own vibratory rate. And frequency is the speed of the vibration, So when you're depressed, you're vibrating more slowly than when you're enthusiastic, So there are vibratory rates that correspond with all kinds of emotional states and physical health states, And, and we're constantly moving around among those vibrations. And so your personal vibration can change from moment to moment, depending on often what you're around. Because we tend to be, kind of tribal. And just like animals, you tend to match what's near you so that you stay safe. That's kind of a habit we have. And so the kind of bad part of this, in a way, is that when you get around somebody who's negative or a victim or complaining or, nasty or whatever, if you're not really conscious of the way you want to feel and you're not centered in yourself, then you will unconsciously match them. And you might have started off in a good mood in the morning, but you got around some kind of negative people or a negative physical place maybe, or, a situation, and then you lowered your frequency to match it. And then you don't feel good later, and you go, what happened to me?
The thing that came to mind, I was going to say, the thing that came to mind was how bad things happen to good people.
Yes. Well, I think that we have a choice in anything that happens to us. And yes, things happen. We have accidents, people die. There's a lot of people who are living off of fear in this world. And a lot of fear creates hatred, and awful behaviors. So it happens to us all the time, but we have a choice in every moment about how we choose to deal with that, how we want to feel about things. And you can either indulge in that negativity and feel bad and, waste your life doing that, or you can choose to feel your home frequency, what I call your home frequency, which really truly is the vibration of your soul coming through your body. Yeah, so we have a choice. If you look to the outside world to try to find yourself or find some reflection of who you are, you'll often change your vibration to match other people or places or situations, And yet inside of you, there is this very stable, very steady vibration of your true self, and it's always there. It's like the light coming out of a baby's eyes. It's the same vibration you've always been, and it's in you now. And you can choose to feel that way. And that way, you're very stable. You're centered, you're an influence on other people so that they'll feel safe and stable, And so part of what I'm trying to show people in the book is how do you recognize consciously that home frequency? And then when you're not in that home frequency, and then choose to get back into it again and develop that habit of choosing to feel the way you'd like to feel. You do have some choice in all of this,
Yes. What are some ways that people can start tuning into that home frequency? Do they have to meditate? Because, I'm a meditator myself, but some people might not like to meditate. Is there other ways that they can start tuning into their home frequency?
Well, I think that, meditation, it could just be as simple as getting quiet for a minute, and getting out of your left brain and all that yakety-yak stuff in the head. And drop into the body, drop into the moment. Breathe, be more in your right brain or in your heart or in your body consciousness. And be with things for a minute, just to quiet down, right? And then start thinking about times when you have felt really happy, cheerful, sincere, sweet, caring, appreciative. There are many qualities of the way we can feel that will allow the soul to flow through us. It doesn't have to be high and jacked up. I think sincerity is a very high state, and so is cheerfulness. There are certain ways that when you're being loving, and you like the way you're being loving, you enjoy feeling that way. Maybe it's heroic, maybe it's generous, maybe it's service-oriented. There are a lot of ways, and you could just pick one, and then start imagining a time when you were doing that. And what happens is that you reintroduce the memory of that into the body, and that carries with it whole postures and states of being, and the body will immediately slide back into all those postures, and the whole state will recreate itself. Wow. It's like a trigger. You can, it could be playing with a puppy, or looking into a baby's eyes. There are so many simple things that can return us to that preferred state,
Wow.
And all you have to do is, pick one, and then just focus on it and imagine it, and you'll be back in it. And that way you can get yourself out of those negative contractions, those negative spirals that we so often sort of think we're helpless to fight them, like they have so much power over us. But they don't. We have the choice to feel the way we want to feel.
True.
Yeah.
Throughout the book, you talk about connecting with the body, how the body itself, our skin, the inside of us is a instrument for sensing our environment, sensing the things around us. Is that a form of being empathic, using the body as our sensory? Well,
partly I think what's happening is that the actual frequency or vibration of the earth is rising, and there's some proof of this. It's called the Schumann Resonance, and it is increasing. But that means that our bodies also are starting to vibrate faster. And when you vibrate faster, you start to pick up on more information in a subtle way. In other words, energy information. You pick up vibes from people, and in that vibe is a whole bunch of data, about how somebody's feeling or what's going on in their life or whether they're safe or not safe, all kinds of stuff. So the body is becoming the sort of non-localized brain. So that because it's becoming so sensitive, the cells, the organs, the aura itself is like a sensing organ. And we're starting to understand that we literally are picking up energy information through waves. And that could be about an accident down the road that you haven't come to yet. You can feel the waves coming at you. Or it could be an earthquake coming, or something that's in another part of time and space. that where the acceleration allows us to feel farther out into the world, spatially and also through time, which is interesting, because things are all coming into the present moment. It's not in the future anymore. So, of course, the body then becomes very important as the sensing organ. It's what registers impressions. And then becoming sort of going into a dialogue with your body, with your, I call it your inner perceiver, that part of you that's picking up on things, that's noticing things, for you to check in a lot. Like, okay, what am I noticing now, or what am I trying to show myself because of this situation? And then getting your information, when it comes to you, that's a whole new skill. And it's intuition.
Yes. I love it how you talk about the ways, how you can feel. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, you mentioned that in the book about being in traffic and being you're fine before you get in traffic, but after you get in traffic, you just feel that jitteriness because everybody else in traffic is uptight and jittery. You can feel those waves. I love the way you talk about that. It's just like
sometimes you don't know that maybe the guy in the car next to you is angry, or you get around somebody who's really impatient and pushy, and they'll upset you now. They don't have to you don't have to interact with them. You get their aura coming right out through the car. So we're very sensitive to all kinds of stuff now that we didn't used to notice because our bodies were vibrating at a slower rate. We didn't even pick it up. We were oblivious. But now we're not.
No, we're not. You talk about what's called the intuitive age. That is totally new. I was like, okay, we're in the information age. You talk about the intuitive age. Can you elaborate on that for us?
Yes. Well, I think this has been going on for a while, that the vibration on the planet's been increasing steadily. And, of course, we're evolving, right? So that makes sense. But, we started kind of with the industrial age, when there was the invention of machines and all of this started to come together. And that was very physical. It was oriented into the physical, mechanistic world. And as that increased, we got computers. Computers speeded everything up until pretty soon the machines were going so fast that it kind of made a quantum leap into the information age. So we went from the body now into the mind, right? So the information age is all about mental processing. And it's speeded up very quickly, even faster, than the previous one. And now with the computers and the internet and everything, you can't process information in a linear way anymore. There's just too much of it. There's, too much speed is required. And in a way, it's the linear logical cause and effect thinking is too slow. So we're approaching this next leap into what I call the intuition age, which basically is based on spirit. It's based on energy. It's not in the mind so much as it is in the higher dimensional level where there's direct knowing. Everything's in the present moment. Things are instantaneous. They're not just fast. They're instantaneous. And that changes the rules of the way reality functions. So the intuition age is going to be entirely different from the way we know reality. And that's what everybody talks about the shift, and the transformation and the new paradigm. It's this change of basically energy speeding up so much that everything coming into the present moment and the rules of even manifestation are changing. And I think people need to understand that there are stages in this process of transformation and the changing over of the information age to the intuition age. And, and we're going through it. You've probably already completed a number of these stages. And it's not chaotic. It does have a logic to it. And it is a compassionate process. And the new, once we understand how the process works, then we have to kind of understand what that new the new rules of the new intuition age are going to be like. How is it going to feel? How will it work? And I'm trying to also sketch, kind of a portrait of that in the book as well, so people can start to, sync up with it a bit.
Yeah. The book definitely. Oh my goodness. It definitely does it. It definitely helps, especially with the way you break down relationships and how they co-inspire with us, how they help us, how they're there. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. You go into depth. I wanted to ask you about, in regards to relationships, when you were talking about the underlining. Now, do they have anything to do with, like, past lives? Would they be connected to our past lives when we have those underlining issues with people?
Sometimes, sure.
Okay.
Whether it's past lives or you just have the same issue, from whatever your developmental process was. You'll connect with people because of the similar vibration.
Okay. Okay. So.
And it's almost like not so important anymore to go into the past, because it is kind of all being drawn into the present moment. So when that happens, of course, we start to get memory back from other experiences, other times, or whatever you want to call it, except that it's in the present moment now with us. And, if it's something that is based on fear, then the only thing to do with it is clear it. It's not worth going into that much. Who wants to go into that reality? So what we need to do is see, usually a fear means that you didn't see a situation completely. You only saw it partially, and you got stuck in that partial view. And the way to clear fear is to go back and see it from the soul's point of view, from the God's eye view, and understand the more holistic picture that, it was just that. I don't need to be afraid of that. And then you get the perspective on it, and it dissolves. And as soon as you dissolve a fear, more of the soul comes through. You're more loving. And that's the process a lot of us are in right now, is the fears are surfacing because they're low vibration, and we're living in a high vibration reality. They can't hide anymore. There's nowhere for them to hide, those low frequency thoughts and feelings. So they surface into your conscious mind. And then that means they seem to come into your life again. Things like situations will suddenly appear that kind of echo back to some previous time. And it's just, that means it's time for you to clear it. Not to make it, not to resist it.
Back.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh. Okay. If you don't clear it, it'll just keep coming back until you
stronger.
clear it.
Even stronger.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that. Wow.
Well, when you press it down and it's trying to come up, it's going to push on you even harder, to come up. Because right now, this is the time where those low vibration kinds of experiences, they can't stay in the world anymore. They can't. There's no place for them to exist.
Gotcha.
And that's why a lot of big changes are happening with governments and big institutions that are from the old reality. They're having to change.
In fact, you mentioned that in the book about how it first is the wind blowing, then it's a car, or then it's a brick. You mentioned something to that effect in the book. I remember you saying that, and actually Oprah said it too, how the universe talks to you in whispers, and if it's not a whisper, then it's a brick, and if it's not a brick, then it's a truck. So totally see what you're saying.
Eventually, it's going to get your attention.
Eventually, yes, totally get your attention. I love the diamond exercise.
The diamond light body.
Awesome. Yes, the diamond light body exercise. I love that exercise. I've been doing that the whole time I've been working on this book, and I love it. It's definitely a way to drop back into your body, to get back into the present moment, and that's a way to tune in, correct? Because I feel like I'm tuning in when I do it.
Well, yes, and so what you're doing is you're imagining that you have a diamond light body that looks just like you, but it's totally glossy and clear and transparent, and it's standing behind you and puts its hands on your shoulders, and you start to tune into that vibration. And then you let that self step inside of you and merge with you from the back to the front. And then settle in, and match up, the heart, diamond light heart goes into your physical heart, and the diamond light brain into your brain and your eyes and every part, so that you have kind of an inner blueprint of that clear light. And then you let that repattern you. You just surrender to it. Say, I don't know what I'm doing, but I know you do. So help me, fix me, show me where I've missed the boat here, and you allow it to kind of merge through your cells and everything. And then after it really takes over, you realize you are that being. That's you, the real you.
Yeah.
And you're present now.
Yeah.
And it's just a way to get back in touch with yourself and your true vibration.
I was going to say, question
Good
about...
thing to do before you have a meeting or, something important to do, a presentation or whatever.
I did it before this.
All right.
I did it before this. Is that a good way to dissolve energy? Because you talk about how, what I'm saying, we're all connected and we all get blended when we connect with people. The thought that was crossing my mind was, okay, you come in contact with a negative person. That negative person's energy is on you. How do you dissolve that energy? Is using that exercise good for dissolving that energy and getting back to your home frequency?
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing about dissolving energy is really it's a function of attention. So whatever you pay attention to becomes real. So if you're looking at a person who's upsetting you and thinking, I can't stand them, I hate their energy, I don't like the way they are, and they scare me, and I wish they were gone, then you're making them real. You're validating the negativity. When you simply become sort of nonplussed and just take your attention out of them a little bit, just let them be there. But also put your attention back in yourself. Shift your attention back to yourself. And then go into your home frequency and just say, oh, I know how I like to feel. I'm this way. They can be that way if they want to, but I'm going to feel this way. And then you start putting your attention on the thing you like. Now then, their energy starts to fade. And if you do that 100%, literally, probably, if they were going to stay inside your energy field, they would have to change to come up to your frequency. What happens often with negative people is when you change your vibration, they either change or they leave. If they can't get you to match them and control you, then they leave. Or they think, oh, here's a good opportunity for me to change. I'll raise my vibration too, and then we can play,
Okay. I love it.
So it's not so much about dissolving anything. It's just about focusing on what you want your reality to feel like. And then just knowing that it's going to shape itself the way you direct it to.
Got you.